I'm all set.
Okay. So additions or deletions to the agenda? Bill, you're here for the whole meeting? Thumbs up.
I'm here till 1:45, but if you could add pay orders to new business.
And Rich,
Okay.
to old business, can you just add website?
Wow, we did really bad. Okay. Anybody else? Kate, you good?
All good.
Laura, you good?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Members of the public, I don't see any unless you got something, Lauren. Wow, your clock is really messed up behind you.
Yeah, the battery's dead.
Want me to send you a battery?
I just realized it was visible.
May 18th meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments, or could I get somebody to make a motion?
There was one typo on the second page. Bill's name was spelled, it was missing one N in the middle of the second page. I'm trying to pull it up to tell you exactly where. The third paragraph down on page 2.
Sorry, my connection is not great.
Mr. Upton. Okay. Laura, somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meetings of May 18th.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so Kate seconded, thank you. Is there any discussion? As Bill reminds me, roll call votes. Mark?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Okay, so it's unanimous. Terry, we did, Dwight, how are you? Carrie, we just did members of the public. Did you have anything as a member of the public?
No, I thought I would join you before my commute home.
Okay, cool.
Mary?
Dwight, can you hear us? Wow, Peter looks scary, as does Lauren. Okay, correspondence, I didn't have anything. Bill, Matt, or Tammy, was there anything from you guys? Okay, old business. Equity, placeholder for future discussion. Let's, since we don't have a lot of stuff, now it's gone. Since we don't have a lot of stuff going on, Bill and Tammy and Matt, let's make that next meeting's discussion. So let's have some stuff together. And Lori, are you around? You're going to be there for the next meeting? Wow, now I got everybody gone. Hello?
Looks like it's just us, guys.
Okay, Lauren's back. Kate? I don't know. Steam update. So we got something from Tammy. You had done some work on what you saw that your position being with the Steam positions. So do you want to?
Correct. Sure. Well, Lori and I met last week to discuss the financials, which I included in one of the documents that I sent off. HR also drafted up a stipend agreement, which I also attached with your documents. I really just think that this is the best path forward for all. It's consistent with what we're doing within the district. And I think it's really what's going to be best for our students, given the circumstances. So if you can, just read over the documents, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions of Tammy? First off, everybody got her paperwork. There was a sample contract with no names, and then there was a backup document as to what the position was going to do, which we'd asked for at the last meeting. So I don't know. I got Mark the next through him. Is Mark totally gone? Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I saw a thing that said Mark has left the meeting, but now I see it looks like he's coming back in.
Okay, Dwight, can you hear me?
Hi.
And Laura, you can hear us?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, was I gone for a while?
I was gone for a while.
Everybody was gone for a while.
Not everybody.
Okay, Lauren's shaking her head.
Matt, who was gone?
There was
I
a
love
time
these
where
meetings.
it was just Tammy, Bill, Rich, and I. And I
Oh.
think maybe Carrie was still on at that point.
Okay. TJ told me
Okay, I see
Consolidated
Kate
has
again.
big outages.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, we want to turn like really, everything was black. It was like looking at ghosts. Thought I was on sci-fi.
Was a
Even
little
King-
scary.
Oh my God.
Is everybody good with the equity issue? Laura, we're going to talk about equity at the next meeting.
So we're going to talk about equity at the next meeting. Can I give you
Right, I've
my,
asked Bill.
okay.
Go ahead.
Do you want my update, my 30-second update on the weights?
Well, no, because that would be okay under new business, but
Okay.
the equity thing that
Good.
we want to talk about for, equity in river valleys.
Excuse me, could you orient me? Last I heard, it was all in favor.
Right, so the correspondence, everybody voted in favor of approving the minutes. We had no correspondence. We asked Bill, Tammy, and Matt for next meeting to have prepared a discussion for the equity on old business for the placeholder for future discussion. And I was checking with Laura because she was the one who originally brought that up to make sure she was going to be at the meeting. So is everybody up to speed?
Thank you.
Okay, and then we went to Tammy and we had a discussion about the STEAM update, and Tammy had updated us. Did everybody from hear what Tammy reported? Lauren shaking her head. Kate?
I did not. We're having some really touchy internet today.
It's Consolidated
Day. Yeah, Consolidated's having a very challenging day. So
as
it's been
usual.
tricky. Worse than normal though.
Tammy. So we got something with the principal's report about the STEAM and a sample contract that Tammy want to give for a person to be like the STEAM coordinator, like we have IB coordinators at the Dover building. We want to have something like that at the building. So Tammy, can you just do your dog and pony show again?
Tammy, before you go, Rich, question for Rich BCTV. I'm showing recording is paused.
I'm not seeing that.
Okay.
Some people look very, very still.
I know it still says recording in progress.
We got two
Okay.
Dwights.
Sorry about that, Tammy.
No problem. It's part of being an educator, right? We're all working together and being patient with one another. Am I good to go? Okay. All right. So I had emailed all of you today with some documents. One of the documents is an updated version of the document that I had presented at our last meeting, which is the proposal for the station. In it, it includes a context as well as a rationale for moving forward with this proposal. It also has a description of what the STEAM coordinator position would entail, with roles and responsibilities listed, and the financial implications as well. In addition to that document, I attached a stipend agreement that was written up by the HR department, which includes the stipend agreement. So were you all able to look that document or those documents over? And if so, let me know how I can be helpful for any questions I may answer.
I don't think I received it.
Tammy sent it to the group email. I was copied on it. Maybe you just send it again, Tam.
Yep.
Yeah, I did not receive it.
Is there anyone else that I need to send it to?
I am not, I don't believe I have it.
I'd send it to everybody.
I don't have it either.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Tammy, it was the agreement, it was a write-up of what you wanted to do.
Yes.
With the position.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I thought that came in this morning.
it did. Yep.
From Tammy? Yeah, I don't have an email from you.
I sent it to the RVUSD board, so I'm not sure if there was something funky with the email addresses or what happened, but I will certainly resend it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're not all on it. And Laura, if you're on it, it's probably your Wyndham Central Board email.
I thought I had that forwarded against recommendation to my Gmail account.
Tammy,
Should
both of these
Oops.
both of these can be published.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a contract. It's not a specific contract per person. It's general.
So I forwarded those documents to Kate, Dwight, Mark, and everyone? Or Laura to your Gmail account.
Okay, great.
I just put a link in the chat. I just added those two documents to that folder.
Oh, I got it.
Just got your email, Tammy. You want me to share my screen and show it, or?
If everybody's got it, let's just, when you do that, we lose a bunch of people. I can't see anybody.
Right now, do we want any typos or do we just want big picture? What are we aiming for?
Big picture.
Okay, great.
Big picture, and then we'll give her typos when they can go and issue it. Does anybody have any comments on the content?
Would you like this appended?
Did somebody have a comment?
Great.
Peter just wanted to know if you wanted it appended.
Sure.
Got it.
Tammy, was that basically your job description when you had it posted?
Pretty much. I did take out, one of the lines was team teaching during the school day. I think that since teachers will be in the role of classroom teaching, it would be difficult for that to happen. So I did eliminate that.
Hey,
As well
Rick,
as the-
since we're on old business. We're talking about Steam update, the second item in old business. Go ahead, Tammy. I'm sorry.
These look great to me, Sam, Tammy.
In addition, I did take out the teaching the art piece as well, because that would be a separate position.
Is 6,000 what we pay the IB coordinators? Their stipend?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Yeah, it looks good to me.
So, Kate, you have any comments?
No, it looks good.
Okay. Dwight?
Yeah, no, it looks good. Well done.
Okay. Rick?
I read it over quickly. It looked fine to me.
Okay. And then Mark?
Good.
Laura?
Good.
So I want to make one point, just something I'd asked about. So there is an escape clause kind of at the bottom, because if they decide not to have any school at all next year, then we can pull that contract. So I think with that in it, that we're really protecting, everybody so I think that should work well for us. So I'd be good with it. So I guess, Tammy, you've got approval to move forward, you and Bill and Matt. Just, whatever contract will have to come to us to be signed and approved when you get the individual you want to put the name in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, if everybody's good with that, then, Rick, under old business, we added the website too, under additions and deletions to the agenda. So Mark, I'm going to turn that over to you and let you talk about that.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty short. I've received a grand total of 0 requests for the RFP. So what I wanted to talk about with Bill was how we can get this on a more national platform rather than just local newspapers, because this really doesn't need to be somebody local, as nice as it would be to have someone local.
So Bill, can you work with him? Just
Whatever you want me to do.
is that what the board would like to have?
Yes.
If
I hear
if
yes.
the board would approve, I'll work with Bill to get it posted on, and I'm blanking on the name, but there are a couple of websites for independent contractors in the IT field, as there are in many fields now. That might be a good place to put this. So, Bill, I'll get those names to you and work with you on that.
Everybody okay with that? Just shake your heads and
Yes.
Yes.
I can't see you. Okay, Rick, thank you. Okay, and that's all under old business unless I missed something. New business, Bill submitted the end of the year cabinet report to everybody. Are there any questions on that I hate to have him, he spends a lot of time typing it up, so I hate to just rehash what's in it unless somebody has something specific that they want to question. Mark?
I don't think I received that either.
That went out last week, last Friday, I believe.
Bill.
It went out on Saturday at 5 a.m.
Oh, 5 a.m. on Saturday. There you go. Thank you, Kate. Okay.
What were you doing at 5 o'clock on Saturday morning?
It's the time that Mr. Antone gets alone time.
Yes.
You speak that language well.
So, just by a show of hands, did nobody else receive it, or did anybody else see it besides me?
I saw it.
Okay, so Laura and Kate saw it. Since 3 people didn't see it, Bill, I'm going to put that off till next meeting. Let's carry that forward. And then if you have any questions, we'll talk about, we'll bring up questions at the next meeting if everybody's okay with that. So, Bill, besides what was in your report, is there anything else from you?
Just that the leadership team is going to be meeting this Friday. We received a document from the Vermont Superintendents Association last Thursday, talking about guidelines based on the CDC for opening school. We are waiting for the Agency of Education to get us something, but we are going to go ahead and start planning on Friday because we can't wait much longer. Fortunately, we are doing some pilot summer schools in the WCSU at Leland and Gray in Newbrook. Our Director of Operations, Mr. Medina, has spent countless hours dissecting all the CDC guidance and getting us ready to practice so that we can be prepared for the fall. So on Friday, Tammy and Matt and I will be meeting with the other principals to move that work forward. As Tammy and I met today, that work's going to continue over the summer. She made a very good point that we're not going to all finish it right now because things change and we're trying to get as prepared as possible. But right now, we're preparing for in-person instruction in August in both Wardsboro and in Dover.
Anybody have any questions for Bill on that? Laura?
I'm thinking. Bill, any changes to the schedule? I'm sorry if you noted that.
Changes to the schedule in terms
Calendar.
of opening up school?
Any changes to the calendar? Yeah.
No.
So has anyone discussed that as a possibility? Has that been discussed as a possibility at either the state level or amongst the superintendents?
Part of the superintendent's document is asking the AOE to give a blanket 170-day year next year so that we can open the school year with planning for those students because we don't know what the environment's going to look like until August. So it would be really nice to have some days in August when we knew exactly what it was going to look like, but we have no idea what the reaction of the AOE is going to be to that request. It could just be the opening salvo for a conversation about once we know exactly what we can provide, giving us an opportunity to dig a little deeper than we can in June. Because all the teachers are going to be leaving June 17th, June 18th, and they won't be coming back until August 20th. So if we had the opportunity, or at least the flexibility to do something like that, we would really prefer that. So the superintendents have asked for that, but we have not heard back from the Agency of Education.
And so the Agency of Education, if they were to give that guidance, would that allow flexibility with staff to reschedule staff according to health needs?
Say that, what do you mean healthcare needs?
Well, I mean, if the schools needed to be closed or, I guess what I'm kind of getting around to we heard my son's college, they're talking about opening earlier.
Yeah.
Closing earlier, right after Thanksgiving, taking a much longer break. So that was the kind of the beginning part of my question. And I heard you say that you're asking for, the superintendents have asked AOE for more guidance around some flexibility for 170 days. Is flexibility the correct word, or am I using the wrong word?
No, it's just converting 5 student days to 5 preparation days.
I see. Got it.
The calendar, as in starting, and I
Okay.
don't know the
So it's-
day, August 28th or whatever, that is not being changed anywhere in the state.
Okay. And so if that becomes that, so that's not being contemplated.
It is not.
Okay. So, but I assume that we're planning for either online or in school. So yes.
We are planning to start in person, but also being highly prepared that what we experienced these last 10 weeks could easily resurface. And we have to be flexible enough to be prepared for that. And we also have to be flexible enough that it might occur in one building and not occur in another. So we might be having situations where one building has to be closed, and so that building goes to remote learning, while another building will stay open because it is unnecessary to close that building. We don't know what it's going to look like. We're trying to be as flexible as possible, but we are planning for in-person instruction based on the 25-person guidance and the 17 pages of CDC reopening.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
So I'm off for a sec, but I see that there's 2 things that just came out today. Leveraging summer 2020 learning programs, a strong, healthy start, and memo extended school year services summer 2020.
Yep.
So is that all part of what you guys have to figure out?
So those are guidances that we receive on a daily basis. The first one is about planning, using summer planning, kind of what I referenced earlier, to practice the protocols and the arrivals and the safety mechanisms that we'll be putting into place at Newbrook and at Leland and Gray to see if they are feasible, see if they make sense, to see how they need to be changed so that we can learn and then distribute that knowledge to all of our other schools. And then the second one is extended school year, ESY, and that refers specifically to special education services. And so basically that gives us the flexibility that if you would like to deliver those services via a virtual manner, as we are now, that is allowed, but you can also have small groups that you can bring into a school. And our Director of Special Education, Stephanie Beatty-Hancock, has been planning on all of that for about the past 30 days. So even though that guidance came out very recently, we've been projecting that that was going to be the case and planning accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions for the superintendent? Go ahead, Mark.
This might be for a combination of you and the principals, but do we know what our current expected class sizes are? Like, do either of the schools have classes larger than 20 at this point?
Matt and Tammy would have to be specific, but my last recollection is nothing is larger than 20. So that is actually fantastic because that allows us to have the teacher, the students. You could have specialists flow in and out, special educators flow in and out. The guidance is to keep the kids together, not merge for cafeteria, not merge for recess. We're going to see how that works over the summer and see how we can keep kids safe while still giving them the experience of school in person.
Great, thank you.
Laura?
Yep.
Laura and then Kate.
No, I'm good.
Oh, Kate.
So has the CDC, have they talked about guidelines on transportation to school?
So that's the biggest challenge that we're going to face because the guidelines that the CDC put out is basically on a 72 passenger bus, you could have 18 kids. So the Superintendent's Association has asked the Vermont Department of Health and the AOE to dig a little deeper into that because it's just not going to be feasible to run 3 separate or 4 separate buses at the same intervals, even if they were spaced apart. No one has enough drivers. No one has enough physical buses. We are trying this summer. We are encouraging our parents not to take the public transportation of a bus. And we're going to see how that works out. But we are really hoping that the Vermont Department of Health and the AOE gives us some guidance on that. But that is the most challenging thing. Everything else in the CDC guidance we can take care of. We can have one way, we can clean, we can keep kids isolated, we can have less than 25. We have cleaning products, we have masks, but the transportation is by far the biggest challenge right now for us to try to accomplish in the fall. And I don't have a solution right now.
And what about after school programming, the laughter program that they have at, some of the different schools? Is that still going to be a viable option to offer next year, or where does that stand?
Should not be a problem because we'll follow the exact same guidelines that we're following in the summer and in school, smaller groups of 25. Again, the challenge for that will be transportation. Because of the work of our director of operations, we feel very confident in having our buildings prepared. It's the transportation that we just need to see if that guidance evolves. If we could just get from 18 to 36 on a bus, I think we might be able to make it happen by heavy encouragement of parents that if you don't absolutely have to take the bus. But again, I just don't know what that's going to look like in the next 75 days.
Thank you.
You bet.
Is there any, Dwight, you all set?
Yeah, those are my questions that were answered. It's great. Thanks, Bill.
Laura and Rick, you guys good?
Good.
So just something that I've noticed a lot, because I get 5 different updates every day from all different places. And, Bill can make, the school and the principals can make a lot of really great plans. And then next week they come up with something new and, they're all going to change too. So I think it's going to be a really fluid situation. And like Bill said, almost every other day, there's a new memo or 2 new memos from the Department of Education saying, oh, wow, this is what you got to do now. I actually wouldn't be surprised if they make us make all little compartments on the bus so each kid has a plexiglass shield around them, and a little door so when they get down the aisle, they go in their own little doors, and who knows how crazy it's going to get. So, and then again, they're also finding maybe the virus wasn't as strong as they thought it was, and they're starting to loosen some stuff and not seeing any increase. So again, I think it's going to be, day by day come September. Again, like the Secretary of Education said at one point, school's going to open, but who knows? It's not going to look like it ever has before. So thank you, Bill, for that. We have, if nobody's got anything for Bill, we did get 2 principals reports, or we got a principals report from Matt and Tammy. Again, not to read. Did everybody get that? I see Mark shaking his head. Dwight. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the principal's report specifically? Laura?
I do not.
Okay. Dwight, Kate, you guys are all good over in the upper right?
All good.
Rick?
Look fine to me.
Mark? Thumbs up? Okay. You guys got off easy. Does anybody have any comments or questions, or Matt or Tammy, do you have anything that wasn't in the report that you'd like to share? Matt's saying no. Tammy? No? Okay. Moving right, well, according to Lauren's clock, we just have only taken about a minute. End of year plans. That was something I asked for. Matt and did include it in his I think Matt and Tammy included it in their in the principal's report. And Matt, you'd sent an email about Dover School used to have a couple awards, Friends of Dover School and Above and Beyond Reward, but they were specific to Dover. So I don't really, unless somebody else has a comment or question or something, I think, to me, that ended when Dover School ended. If we want to do a River Valleys thing, I think that's appropriate, but it should be between the two schools. And, Rick and Kate and Dwight and Tammy, I don't know if Wardsboro used to have any kind of award they would present at your 6th grade graduation that you guys would think of, but, maybe that's something that we can use to kind of combine. If you guys can maybe think of, maybe we could do something for, somebody that really helped smooth the transition over the last, for this school year. Maybe we could just do a River Valleys award for somebody, parent, a staff member, whatever you guys think, unless somebody on the board has a different idea.
Wardsboro actually does do a Friends of Education award every year at graduation.
So maybe to be consistent, we could do a River Valleys Friend of Education award and do one for each building. Does that make sense?
I like it.
Yeah. So Tammy, who would pick that? Like in Dover, the 6th grade class with their teacher would pick it.
So actually, typically our staff picks it. We actually picked our Friend of Education today during our staff meeting. In future years, we can certainly include the students to change it up. It's already been decided for this year.
I was just thinking of doing something consistent between the two because we are one district in 2 buildings.
Hey, Rich.
Yeah, Matt.
We could do something like that as well. Have a staff pick in Dover. That would be manageable. That's helpful.
Yeah. So would it be possible for you two to come up, like maybe do a new award? So like whoever the last one was last year, that's it. And then, between Wardsboro and Dover, come up with a new name that's not from either school. So it's kind of unique to River Valleys. And then we could do it for, each building. Is that possible?
What do you think, Tam?
I think we can put our 2 heads together and do that for sure.
I think it's a great idea.
Is everybody from the board okay with that?
Yes.
Dwight?
I like that idea.
Just to be clear, so
Oh, sorry.
you're creating one award for the whole district?
One award for the district, but awarded separately in each building. So there'll be 2 awards giving, but so it'll be the same award. It'll be the ABC award for the River Valleys, and this person is the person chosen for the Wardsboro building, and this person's chosen for the building.
Sounds great.
Kate, you good with that?
That sounds great.
Okay, Rick, I heard you say it was okay.
Yeah, it sounds great.
And Mark, you're the only one I didn't hear.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. So then maybe the other thing we can do then, so the Above and Beyond award that Dover had used to be from the board specifically. So maybe the board, if the board wanted to, maybe we could do one award to a person, be it a staff member or a community member, and we could do somebody that really helped the River Valley School gel this year. In its first year, and we could just do that, and that could be announced at both places, but it would only be one award given. And maybe we can do it like the spelling bee award, whichever building that person was more associated with, that's where the award can sit for that year, or something like that. Does that sound like something we can try to do, or do we want to not bother with that this year, maybe try that next year?
Probably might be best to wait a year on that. I think let's get this settled in and then see where we're going, rather than creating 2 awards in the same year. Just my opinion.
Rick?
I think we're probably, I mean, have you both already picked for this year? Tammy and Matt?
We did, yes.
We have not selected yet in Dover.
Okay. What are the basic criteria, Matt, for yours?
So let me just pull that up real quick. The awards that Dover's been given in the past have been primarily given by the board. Here is one called the Friends of Dover School. And then there was the one Rich talked about, Above and Beyond. The Above and Beyond, some notes here say somebody who's consistently dedicated. Students refer to them as a family member, respected by colleagues. This one looks like it's tended to go toward a staff member. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rich and Bill.
No, the original Friends of Dover School Award was not supposed to ever go to a staff member. It was supposed to be somebody from the public, and it was picked by the 6th grade student. So the board started the Above and Beyond because we started recognizing staff members, and you know, it's not really appropriate because the staff members are supposed to be a friend of the students and friends of the school, you know, so that was why we did that. So the Above and Beyond was a board pick, and the Friends of Dover School was, even though the board presented the certificate to the whoever was chosen, that was definitely the 6th grade class picked that person. For a long time, it was whoever was most involved in the trip to, you know, Montreal.
Anyway, I think it's a perfect time to redefine these things. So I think if we had a Friend of Education Award, the way Wardsboro does, and Tammy and I can determine the criteria for that. And then if the board wants to come up with another award for community members that the board determines criteria and a recipient for, I think that would be fine too.
Okay, so I mean, it sounds fine to me to do both of them if we want to come up with some criteria and present it before the end of the year. That just seems like a little bit of a tall order this year.
A little tight.
Laura or Mark or Kate?
I think it definitely seems like, you know, you've got to have clear criteria to be able to pick a recipient. And Rick makes a great point to be able to define that in a timely fashion, because we are, you know, we end school in a week and a half. Like, that's not much time at all.
Yeah, graduation happened before we meet again.
Laura?
Thinking. I'm not opposed to Rick's suggestion at all. So I'm just thinking.
So then let's do that. Let's let Matt and Tammy deal with the one awards for this year, and then Bill and Peter, if we can just carry that on forward, we'll have a discussion about an education award by the board for next year.
There we go.
Go ahead, Matt.
Guys, I just want to let you know, I did already pose the question to Sue about having the students select this year's Friend of Dover School. I don't see that I've heard from her yet, but I want to just check with her to make sure that we haven't already had the kids select somebody before we let that go this year.
Okay. So we're going to let you guys just deal with it for this year.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. And then, other than that, I don't know if either one of you want to talk about your end of the year plans or if you want anything from the board.
I did have a question about diplomas. Typically in the past, the board chair has signed diplomas. This year, do we want to make it so that we have 2 signatures so that both chairs sign, or how do we want to make that consistent?
That's a really good question. Yeah, Bill, Mark.
Bye, Bill.
Oh, you're. See ya.
Oh, bye, Bill.
Look at Lauren's clock. You still got time.
Um,
Go ahead.
what I was going to say was we only have one chair. So,
Well, we have a vice chair.
oh, I see what you mean.
Why don't
both.
now let's here's a good way of doing it. Why don't we have the senior board member from each town sign the appropriate town one for this year? Is everybody okay with that?
So one person will sign each town's or both on both?
Yeah. No, the senior board member from each town will sign that specific building's diploma. So, Rick and Dwight will have to duke it out because they've both been on the same length of time. And
The
Lauren,
duking, it's Rick.
I'm not duking it out with you, Dwight. And I'm out of town over there, their graduation in Wardsboro. So
You'll be there anyway, would you? Or no?
duty to you, Dwight.
Good.
Laura, are you good with that?
I am good with that, yes.
Kate, are you okay with that?
That sounds good to me. Yes.
Okay, Mark, you okay with that?
Yeah, I think I'd rather see both of you sign both, but we can do that in future years.
Well, if that's what the wish of the board is, we can do that. Rick and I can both sign. I mean, that's pretty easy too.
I just think we're trying to be one district.
Yes.
Let's do it the same way.
I like the idea very much.
Okay, so let me say what happens one year when Dwight and Rick are both chairman and vice chairman.
Well, we can make it the scene. Well,
They would be changing it again.
I would stick to the chair and vice chair, regardless of what towns they're from. At least it's consistent.
Okay, so Laura, you good with that?
Yes.
Rick?
I'm fine with that.
Dwight?
Yeah, sounds good.
Kate?
All good.
Okay, so why don't we do that? If you guys want, Matt and Tammy, just get them together, and Rick and I will figure out how we're going to sign them for you.
Well, the chair and vice chair will sign everybody's diplomas.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, and then is there anything else that Tammy you want from the board? Are you going to have like a drive-by thing? Do you want some board members there or not?
So we have chosen to have an in-person graduation. We have 4 students that are graduating. It will be held in our outdoor classroom, only open to family members. So it will be only the immediate family. I think there'll be 21 or 22 of us in total. We're going to, as I said, we're going to hold it in the outdoor classroom. We've got benches that will be reserved for each family. They'll be spaced out 6 feet apart. Sam and I will give speeches. We are trying to figure out a way for students to either have their speeches projected for all of us to watch, or for them to actually recite their speeches live. Just something, really quick. It won't be, as long as our typical graduations, but that is Wardsboro's plan So it will be next Monday at 6 p.m. with a rain date of Tuesday at 6.
Okay, so is everybody good with Tammy? Any questions, comments, thoughts? Matt, you're up.
So in Dover, excuse me, in Dover, we're doing the drive-in style graduation because we do have 14 students graduating. It also will be open to immediate family only. They'll be allowed to have, at this point, 2 cars per family, one with the graduate and one for other family members. The staff and those involved will be under the canopy of the front of the school with the speakers facing out to the parking lot area. The cars will be facing the school. We'll be asked to stay in their cars. And at the very end, as the graduates drive out, we will hand them their certificates and any awards that they received throughout the ceremony at that point on their way out. And we typically have at least a few board members on hand for that. And I would like to invite you again to be available if you're interested in coming. We won't do any handshaking or the usual kind of reception line stuff that we do for the graduate.
Okay, so any questions for Matt from anybody? And Matt, when is that going to be?
Wednesday, June 10th, 6 o'clock.
I see nobody moving, so I think you're good, Matt. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Matt.
You guys did a great job this year. I mean, with everything that was thrown at us, could you imagine what else could we have had happen? So, good job getting us through the year there. You too, Bill, even though you're gone. Under new business, Bill asked us to look at the pay orders. So there was an email that went out a little while ago for pay orders. Did anybody in the board get that? See that?
Was that the one from like a week and a half ago?
No, it just came out today. It's for $416,899.08. It came from the accounts payable person, which is not Lori Garland. It is the other Lori, isn't it?
Lori Langevin?
I believe so. It came out really late.
I did not receive anything.
I did not either.
Neither did I.
Okay, that's fine because I can sign that and approve that. So, that's all I had until
Could I have that amount again?
pardon?
Could I have that amount again?
Yeah, it's 416,899.08.
Thank you.
Mrs. Twitchell said it's not a no, it's a 0. Okay, we got an executive session. We've got some contractual issues. Matt and Tammy, do you have anything for us?
I think I'm all set.
Okay. The next meeting should be on June 15th. So we're allowed to have up to 25 people. We gotta have 6-foot spacing. So if you think about it, we have 6 board members and we're supposed to be 6 feet apart. We're gonna be about 36 feet. That'll be probably the width of either gym or cafetorium or utility room or anything. So I think for now, we probably ought to plan on at least the next June meeting to be virtual, and then maybe we'll reassess it after that. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Mark?
I would just say that, at least from my personal perspective, until there's a vaccine, I'm not going to want to be in large groups.
Peter's giving us thumbs up. Anybody else?
I'm willing to take it as, take it on a month by month basis.
Go ahead, Dwight.
And
Oh.
excuse me, Rich, I'm sorry, Dwight, may I just add, is that okay? I'm sorry.
Of course.
And Richard, I think that it is entirely possible, and I would like to encourage that we do this, that we have hybrid meetings, that we are able to meet in person with virtual participation as well. I think it's possible. I think we've learned a lot of things that are possible now, and I would encourage us to, just do that, plan to do that forevermore, actually. So, we can test drive that as we're coming out of this.
Go ahead, Dwight.
Yeah, I know I would agree. I think a month by month, and we'll try to review on maybe having some type of hybrid that everyone can feel comfortable with. That makes the most sense.
Rick, you got a comment? I'll get back to you in a second, Peter.
Yeah, I don't have any comment on that. I'm good either way.
Kate?
I like the idea of the hybrid a lot, because I think everybody's going to have some different thresholds of how they feel safe for a while. So I think being able to be agile makes a big difference in today's society. So I like that.
Okay. Peter?
Just a word for, a lot of people are compromised in their immune systems, and it's going to take them a lot longer to get in to person-to-person gatherings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't enjoy virtual meetings because, like what happened earlier, all of a sudden everybody's gone, and then don't know what's going on. And there was a couple meetings ago, I was totally gone. So,
well, I think we all need to be active with the broadband committee to help increase our internet in our area, and then that won't be such a big concern anymore.
Laura?
And I am fortunate. So Laura just signed you up, so you got yourself on another committee. You probably maybe didn't want to say that.
No, I've been engaged with them.
Okay, so Mark, you're going to set us up for the 15th again. So we'll meet June 15th at 6 p.m. And then Tammy and Matt work with Bill and get us a summer schedule. A lot of times we wouldn't meet in July at all. And I don't know what Wardsboro used to do, but we would kind of take July off and then maybe meet once in August, or, usually we had to meet in July, at the end of July or the 1st of August to get the bus routes done. And, that may be something that we're going to have to wait on to see what guidance you have anyways. But we just, technically by law, the bus routes are supposed to be posted 30 days before the start of school. And that's one thing the board is supposed to do, is approve bus routes. Unless it's changed.
We basically, I think we just have one meeting in July, right? Rick and Dwight, we would meet only once.
I think that was typical because we were working around vacations usually.
Right.
So why don't Matt and Tammy, why don't you work with Bill and just give us some suggested dates for meetings when you think it's appropriate that you would need us. And again, like in Dover, we used to not meet the first week of September, the first meeting, because it was obviously usually Labor Day. But also we always figured that would give you those first 3 weeks of September to kind of get caught up and not have to worry about making a report for the school board and not having to worry about school board meetings. So why don't you give us a schedule for July, August, and September? And just remember, though, that we got budgets coming up, and budgets are, we don't know. They're supposed to, I keep saying there's going to be that mini budget or that 3-month budget, and we don't know what things are going to look like. So, we may wind up spending a lot more time, but we do have some more time because we did push the annual meeting out a little bit. So other than that, I think we're all set to move into executive session for contractual issues. And I don't know if we're gonna make a decision or not. So Peter, Mark, what do? You kick everybody off and then you bring them back when we're done?
I'll lock the room and kick them off, then they can come back, and I'll unlock the room when we come out of executive session.
Okay, so maybe 5 minutes, guys. Lauren, I'll call you. If you don't come back, I'll talk to you. Call me tomorrow morning after 9 about that other
Okay.
thing about for the fire.
Okay.
Okay, so if I could get a motion to move into executive session.
So moved.
Laura moved. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to Kate. I think I heard her. So I got Kate and Mike motion. Laura made motion. Kate seconded. Rick, you in favor?
I'm sorry, I missed that, Rich.
Are you in favor? You gotta do a roll
Absolutely.
call vote, remember? Laura Sebelia,
Yes.
Dwight. People
Yes.
keep moving around. Kate,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Okay, so we're unanimous. So we're in executive session. Bye, Peter. Bye, Rick. Was on the call a little while ago. Harry,
I just got back.
okay, Peter, do we gotta wait for Rich? Rich, give us a thumbs up when we're ready to go.
The recording started again, so it should be good.
Should be good to go. Rich, you good to go?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the board by unanimous consent came out of executive session. Rich and Mark are gonna send to the superintendent a couple more edits to the agreement and hopefully get it to the board before the next meeting so it can be discussed and finalized at the next meeting. Are you,
I'm sorry, we'll get what to the superintendent?
some changes to the agreement, to the contract,
Got it.
and some clarification. Are you good, Peter?
I'm good.
Okay. Next thing is a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 7:22 p.m.
Second.
Right, you gonna second that?
Sure.
Okay, a motion from Rick, a second from Dwight. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Okay, cool.
Aye.
We're all adjourned.